Hi, welcome to the Pro Coach Community YouTube channel. Introducing you a series of videos where experts will share their stories and opinions. It will help you to become an expert like them and will prevent you from repeating same mistakes. I am very excited to introduce our first expert who is Urmil Shroff. He have a deep interest in technology, programming and open source software development. He loves to make beautiful and easy to use performant applications using Flutter. He loves to share his knowledge with others by giving talk, conducting workshop, etc. Over to you, Urmil Shroff.
Hey guys, so my name is Urmil and I've been working with Flutter for like almost over a year. And yeah, I really love the framework. Like ever since I started using it, I really like its UI capabilities and like just it had a very small learning curve. I felt so. I just picked it up quickly and was able to make apps with it like super fast. So it really got me interested because I could get an output like pretty quickly.
Thank you, Urmil, for your introduction. And it is time to put our first question. According to you, what is Flutter?
So I think Flutter is much more than just an app development framework because like it has support for web as well as Mac OS, Linux, and Windows, and a lot of other things as well. So I think it's really pretty big, and go much beyond just Android and iOS. So yeah, it's probably like an all-in-one SDK. And I think it's trying to take on like the whole JavaScript world, but with just one framework. Like combine React and React Native and like have to learn everything in just one framework.
Next question is how you started your Flutter journey.
So I started actually well tried learning native Android like about 2 years ago. I think in like May 2018. And to be honest, I didn't like it very much. Like I don't know why. I just um, like it wasn't intuitive enough for me, and like I felt that it had a pretty steep learning curve. Of course, back then I also had less of knowledge, but still I was like, I was kind of intimidated by it, and I felt that a lot of things which should happen just didn't seem to work in a straightforward way. So I gave break to app development for about a year, and I think in like April of last year, I just decided, like let me try again. So I thought that okay, there are two different cross-platform frameworks available, which is React Native and Flutter. So I just thought like okay, um, which one should I go for? So I kind of like researched a bit and all which ones I started. And almost every document, every tutorial, every online resource told me to learn React Native because it was more popular, it was more mature, and Flutter had at that time Flutter had just been made stable like less than 6 months ago. Um, so I thought, okay, you know what, let's try React Native. So I went on the React Native website and I just looked at the documentation and I felt like, okay, this does not look fun. Like, I don't know why, but just by the looks of the docs, I thought that like, this seems kind of, a little bit boring and like, should I really do it? And then I went onto the Flutter docs and the Flutter documentation itself looked quite nice. So I just thought, okay, fine, like, let's try this just for a change. It seemed like a new thing. It felt like, if I start with it early, then I'll probably have some kind of advantage over other people. So I just, I just set it up and then, yeah, then I started off with it.
Was it easy to learn and work with Flutter?
Yeah, I think compared to other frameworks which have tried, not just for app development but for other things as well, I think Flutter is quite simple. The installation procedure is really, really long and complicated, and especially if you're setting it up on a Mac, then you have to set up for iOS as well. So you have to install a lot of things, and you have to configure a lot of things. Once you have it ready, once you type Flutter Doctor and like it gives all green check marks, then you're good to go. Like it's really simple to start learning the framework, and like you just look at the counter example and you'll understand almost everything that's going on. That those are like that covers like a lot of the basics, things like set state, um, in order to make a basic kind of app. So it's really good that way. And the learning curve is really small. So I think you can get started with it like in less than a week. You can make like a small app.
What was the biggest challenge in Flutter?
So I think uh, so I was for one of my projects I was using the Google Maps SDK, and at the time when I started learning, when I started working on the project, the Google Maps plugin for Flutter was in beta. So it was kind of buggy, and all the things didn't work as expected. So I would say, yeah, I think it's not directly to do with the Flutter framework itself. It's more to do with like uh, the plugin. But yeah, I think that was one of my.
I completely agree with this point. Our next question is, what is the best way to learn Flutter?
So I think that the answer to that depends on everyone. Like it depends on whether you are like a person who likes doing courses and learning from courses and then applying what you've learned, or just reading through the documentation, or probably just watching a few videos on YouTube here and there, and then just trying to get started with it. I personally like just diving into a project directly. So what I do is to learn like some new framework or some new technique. I just like I scroll through the documentation just to get an idea of some basic terms, um, and then like I just I watch a few videos just to get like a very basic understanding, and then I just start making a project. So I think at least for me it was to just directly start making an app using Flutter.
This is my all time favorite question. What are the applications you made in Flutter?
So I've made a bunch of apps in Flutter. In fact, so the very first app which I made, like which was a proper app to show people, was called Goalkeeper. So it was a note-taking app, and that was one of the first times when I kind of like fell in love with the whole UI of it. So Goalkeeper was my first app. Then I made a thing called Dashboard Reborn, which is just like a UI toolkit. So it has like a bunch of different animations and different UI effects and all that stuff. And after that, I made one of my biggest projects, which is called Flipper. So it's basically an app which helps you get rickshaws easily, like auto rickshaws. So in a city like where I live, which is Mumbai, getting auto rickshaws like near college it was pretty difficult. Of course, right now we are all sitting at home, but back then when we required auto rickshaws, it was really difficult to get them. So Clever it works in a sort of unique way. It's quite different from Uber and Ola. It basically shows the demand to drivers. So when drivers open the app, they can see like hotspots kind of where users are located. So based on that, they know that okay, there are a lot of customers here, and they can go and pick up customers. So for that, we chose to use Flutter, and we also use the Google Maps plugin, which is where I actually faced the problem, as I said earlier. And yeah, and Firebase was the backend. Almost all of my apps are actually open source on GitHub, including Sliver. So I think the links for those can be put down in the description, or if you want, you can also visit my GitHub profile, so you can find all of my apps pinned to my profile.
If you Google Urmil Shroff, you will get all the URL and hyperlinks connected to him.
Luckily, I have a pretty unique name, so it's good for everyone.
Where do you see yourself with Flutter in a year?
So I think the Flutter framework itself will grow really big. Like right now, web support is it's still not completely stable yet. So I think in 1 year, Flutter for web will be really good. And by then, I feel I will be working with Flutter in such a way that I will not only be focusing on mobile apps, which I am right now, but I'll probably be building websites and desktop apps and all sorts of things with it.
Talking about Flutter SDK, so are you satisfied with it or you need more enhancement in Flutter SDK?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the framework is concerned, I'm quite satisfied with how everything is going. I mean, uh, like it's really active. It's gaining a lot of momentum on Stack Overflow, GitHub. Um, and like the framework itself is quite stable and has a lot of packages available as well for like your basic day-to-day things. Um, so yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with the current state of the framework, especially considering that it's been less than 2 years since it was made stable and it was announced just 3 years ago. Yeah.
Is there any tips for our lovely audience?
Okay, so well, firstly, I would say if you want to get started with Flutter, then don't get intimidated by the installation because that's really long. But it's a one-time thing. You just have to figure out the installation. And well, before you start building some kind of a like a big project, so for small projects, it's pretty good. Like you can start off with it and anything. But if you're going to build like a big project, maybe a startup or maybe something you want to carry forward, then you have to keep some things in mind which are required for making big apps. So supposing like state management and just architecting your whole app well, so that you don't end up with like a huge mess of the code after a few months, because then you won't have any idea what's going on and there won't be any proper flow of your data. And like, so yeah, so if you're going to make a big app, then you should definitely keep things in mind such as state management and scalability. Yeah.
Which state management do you prefer? Is it block, provider, or Redux?
So provider is pretty straightforward and simple. I think provider is really popular as well, so it's really good for if you're a beginner. Currently, I'm working with like I'm learning Redux, which is actually a React native design pattern. So yeah, I don't have any real preferences. It just depends on the kind of app that you're making. It actually depends on a number of factors, like the kind of app you're making, how big it's going to be, as well as if the other developers who are working with you like already know some design pattern. Then it's better to just go with that so that everyone's on the same page.
Do you have any feedback for developers at Google who are working on Flutter SDK?
I mean, you guys are doing a great job already. I wouldn't. I don't think honestly. I don't think it's already pretty transparent because it's open source and it's on GitHub. So like we can already make issues and directly get in contact with the team. So it's pretty great. I don't have any specific feedback.
So it is a good feedback for them.
Yeah, it's the feedback already. Yeah, they're already doing pretty well. So.
Do you have any other question to add other than the questions I have asked to you?
Nothing much. I mean, right now, obviously, Flutter is the rage, like everyone's talking about it. But I feel that you should, you shouldn't necessarily follow the herd. Like let's say, if you really badly want to do native Android, for example, or native iOS, for example, then so I mean, go ahead with that. There's nothing wrong in choosing some other framework other than Flutter. Although I mean, arguably, like Flutter is one of the most like it's the newest one and like it has a lot of attention to it. But I mean, there are like even from a job perspective, there are a lot of companies which require native developers. So it can be for Android or iOS as well. Or if you just want to maybe try something other than app development, they don't follow the code.
Thank you, Urmil, for sharing your story with us and giving us your valuable time. Audience, you can find him on Twitter and GitHub by searching Urmil Shroff. That is it for this story. Stay tuned for another story. Till then, bye bye. Take care. This was your host Vivek Yadav signing out.